Welcome to another session of the Business Renovator. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to show a video that's going to talk about something that we can all benefit from. I don't know if you've ever eaten frogs. I have tried it once. They say it tastes like chicken, but I couldn't get over the illusion of what that meant for me. But I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I had a difficult time with it, which is really why I wanted to start today's session off with talking about frogs. But before I jump into the frog conversation, what I'd really like to do is start off with a quote from my buddy's book, Brian Monahan. He's the curator and author of Customer Delight 365. So here we go. 1,000 words will not leave so deep an impression as one deed. Henrik Ibsen. Brian's take on that is save your breath, actions speak louder than words, and marketing. Marketing is like giving yourself a nickname. You can't give yourself a nickname. Only the people who love you can give you a nickname. What nickname will your customers give you for your deeds? So speaking of deeds and frogs and things like that, what I would like to do now is move along to the next part of the show, which is exactly this. The original that frog came from Mark Twain many decades ago, and Brian Tracy has taken that and put it into a book. It's one of the most sought after, sold books, popular books on getting more stuff done. You could talk about it as time management, but really you can't manage time. You can only do things within the time you have. If you think about doing your high priority items, your top 20%, which provide your 80% of your return on energy, money, and value, then the metaphor of eating a frog makes a ton of sense. So in this particular clip here, it says double your productivity and then limit the low value activities, unlock your mental powers. So we have a whole course around this, but I'm not here to promote the course. You could buy the book and work on it on your own, or you could hire a coach and get it done exponentially. It's amazing what happens if you have a coach. So what I want to do is my first attempt at running a video. So bear with me as we make this happen for you guys. It's just a couple of minutes, and then we'll have a brief conversation around it.
Here's a little food for thought. There's an old saying that says, if the first thing you do when you wake up each morning is eat a live frog, nothing worse can happen for the rest of the day. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Well, Brian Tracy has said that your frog should be the most difficult task on your things to do list. The one you're most likely to procrastinate on. Because if you eat that first, it'll give you energy and momentum for the rest of the day. But if you don't, if you let them sit there on the plate while you do 100 unimportant things, it can drain your energy, and you won't even know it. William James, one of the founders of modern psychology, said this: procrastination is attitude's natural assassin. There's nothing so fatiguing as an uncompleted task. So, with that said, here's your assignment for the next 30 days. Take a look at your list. Circle the frog. Eat that first, and you'll thank us for it.
So there you have it. If you eat a frog and make a list of all of your things that you want to get accomplished this quarter, this year, this decade, however that looks for you, you'll be amazed by how much you get done and how good you feel about it and the energy you have to take on other projects. It's a fascinating sort of thing. So I have a copy of the book here. Oh, look at that. You know what color the book is? It's a green in representation of a frog. So it's kind of blending into the background of the green screen, but you can sort of get what it looks like. Just imagine where the blue is, it's actually green. Anyway, international bestseller, Brian Tracy. I'm a certified Brian Tracy International business coach and facilitator of many of the trainings, like Perform at Your Best, sales training, time management, which really you can't manage your time. You can only manage what you do with it. And this is one of the best books we have. We actually have a course called Eat That Frog. But buy the darn book. It's really simple. It's not that thick. Look, I think it's less than 200 pages. Yes, it is. It's like 118 pages. But in the back of it, you'll have a summary of 21 best ideas of getting more stuff done. Getting more stuff done. And the one I was talking about today, what I'm talking about today, is apply the 80-20 rule to everything that you absolutely do. So that's eating that dang frog. Let me just read what we have in the book here. Apply the 80-20 rule to everything. 20% of your activities will account for 80% of all of your results. Always concentrate on your efforts on the top 20%. Now, guys and gals, have a look at what's in your closet. Yes, guys, we have extra clothes in the closet. And what I would encourage you to do is look at what percentage of the clothes do you wear on a regular basis. Now, keep in mind, some of us live in seasons where you actually need to have 3 or 4 flavors of an outdoor jacket, right? I mean, if you're going to Florida, where my buddy Randy is going to be going here shortly, probably doesn't need a winter coat. But where he's living in the Michigan area, he does need a winter coat. And those of us that have seasons that actually change from really warm to really cold, then you're going to double up on your 20%. But if you were to divide it into your wardrobe and look at what you actually really wear, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised that 80% of the stuff that's hanging in your closet you haven't worn for a very long time. Not saying get rid of it. It's just evidence of how impactful the 80-20 rule is. It originally was started or founded by an Italian, by Alfredo Pareto. So it was known as the Pareto rule or Pareto law. And how this came about was he was an economist in Italy, and he did a study of all of the land and the landholders. And he found out that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. So that's where the findings first showed up. But if you think about it in your life, what is it your 80-20 thing's doing? And what I found as a business coach over the last 13 years is the people that I've worked with, had the pleasure and honor to work with, have been a victim of focusing their energy on the 80% of the activities, which netted them a 20% return on their energy and then their finances and those sort of things. One such business was a sign shop that the original owners that I met with it didn't retain me as a coach or any coach. And one of the bottlenecks for them was that they wanted to be everything to everybody. They felt that they could not turn business away. Otherwise, one day that business that they turned away could have been a viable lifelong client. The reality was that that wasn't the case. That was their perception. So they were spending most of their time on the 80% stuff that netted them 20% results, instead of working with the focusing on what they do really well, who's their ideal target audience, and serving them to get 80% return on their time, energy, and investment of money. For example, in the sign shop, what they were doing was making sandwich board signs, so that you and people that ordered that usually were not well organized and not thought out. It was a knee-jerk reaction to a marketing tactic, and they didn't really have a marketing strategy. But the sign shop took this on anyway, and as a result of that, they took time to manufacture. The margins on them were very slow, and they could have been working on what they really love to do. And most of the time, this particular sign shop proprietor preferred to work on 3-dimensional signage. He loved making it, he loved installing it, and it just cranked him up. But he spent very little of his time in that market segment, which was a highly profitable one as well. And he wouldn't have to do as many. He could have had the lifestyle that he wanted. He could have had the freedom that he was looking for to being an entrepreneur. And it's not just one guy. There's many, many, many businesses out there that replicate and duplicate and run their business in the same way that other people run their business. And when they're doing that, they end up competing on price. And then it's a race to the who's out of business first, because if you're competing on price, you've got to always be a better price than the other person. However, if you focus on what you're really good at, the 20% of what you do really, really well, better than anybody else, that really gives you your market dominating position, then you won't be racing to the being out of business finish line, because you don't want to be on that finish line. You want to be at one where you are building a business, you're providing service to people, and you're making a difference in your lives and the people you serve. So the 80-20 rule is wrapped up in all of this. I'm just wanted to share that nugget this morning before I head off and get this hair is going to look different in about an hour when I get back on and do another live. I'm actually starting to do another one in the afternoons, and we'll be inviting entrepreneurs and business coaches. So today will be, you get to ask a business coach or two, because there'll be two of us on there, any question you like, and we may have the answer, because we don't have all the answers to everything, but we may have a resource, or we might have the answer. And that's going to happen at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and 12 o'clock Mountain Time. I see a few of my buddies that pop in and support me here. I'm going to go see what they're up to, what they're saying. Let's go check out what they're saying. Oh, wait a minute. I want to put one of my favorite Yes to Success banners up. And then I want to go check the comments. See, when you have a director running the show, they can do all this thing and you can continue talking. So currently I'm a one-man show, but I'm not complaining. It's awesome to be here and have a few viewers. Look at this. Who's here? It's Randy. Good morning, brother. Love you too, buddy. Ron Goodwin, welcome, and thank you for being here. Look at it. He's saying good morning to both of us. If you've not had a chance to talk to Ron, you might want to do that. Matter of fact, I should reach out and invite Ron to come on and have a session and share some of his wisdom, because he's a bright guy, a very successful entrepreneur in another part of the world, in the United States of America. Better to find your more narrow niche and own it. That's the 80-20 rules said in a different way. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Randy. Appreciate that. 20% of my customer provide. Is that true? See, guys, it's true. It's not just a business coach up here rattling something out of a book called Eat That Frog. It is a strategy that you have to focus on it. Just think what you could do with your life if you were to focus on what are the high value things. And it's not always about money, and it's not always about economics, and it's not always about business. This applies in your dietary. Now, I'm not a dietitian, a medical advisor, or such, but if you were to look at what you were eating, you may find that you're spending. Well, just check that out. I don't know what you might find, because I shouldn't comment on things I'm not in it and have much knowledge in. So I'm going to check my food and see what I'm doing in terms of what's my diet like. Interesting. Randy, you are absolutely right. The two R's, R squared, Randy and Ron, have pointed out that the 80-20 rule is applicable worldwide. It doesn't matter what language you speak, what country you're in, or what business you're in. The 80-20 rule is applicable to absolutely everything in life. Go back to Alfredo Pareto, the Pareto principle. And he found it out as an economist and land holdings. Anyway, just a short burst. I wanted to be on here, keep this thing going and share some information. If you guys like what you're seeing here and know some people, hey, if you could share this out, let them know that we happen on a frequent basis, usually at 9 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time, Monday to Friday. Although I have to say, I've been on a couple of others that I've abandoned Tuesdays, because my buddy Kellen, who's a buddy of many of us on this call today, has a really good Tuesday morning coffee with Kellen, and some of the people she's getting onto her shows are fascinating. So it's distracted me and pulled me away. So I regret that I'm not here with you guys doing my own, but I wanted to support my friend and learn from the people that she's bringing on. So until we meet again, my name is Coach Phil. If you ever have a question about business, sales, marketing, and or mindset, my information's right up there. Send me a note, send me a question, share this out. If you would, that would be greatly appreciated. Much success to you. Remember, yes, you expect success. Yes, you expect success. Say yes to life. Later, guys.